Alright guys, the scientists are at it again. They're up to their pesky dangerous experiments. This time it involves hamsters. So what's going on? Scientists really surprised after gene editing experiment unexpectedly turned hamsters into hyper-aggressive bullies. Scientists are really surprised. Where have you heard that before? Weren't scientists really baffled about the coronavirus and where it came from and what was happening with the vaccines when they came out and people who were vaccinated were still getting the virus and so on, and all this nonsense about the coronavirus and the huge cover-up trying to hide the fact that it more than likely came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and not from some wet market. So this experiment on hamsters happened at Georgia State University in the US. A team of neuroscientists was really surprised. They were baffled by the results of a gene editing experiment on hamsters. The team expected that the elimination of vasopressin activity would make the hamsters behave more peacefully. Let that sink in. So that they were trying to make the hamsters less aggressive, but instead the gene edited hamsters displayed high levels of aggression. This is what makes this experiment really messed up, is that the experiment had the opposite effect to what they were expecting. Unbelievable. A team of neuroscience researchers was left really surprised. So they're changing the word from baffled to surprised. Remember how baffled scientists were with the whole China virus? Now they're really surprised. So they've gone from baffled to surprised. So a gene editing experiment unexpectedly created hyper-aggressive hamsters, according to Georgia State University. So this happened in Georgia State University, and the paper was published in this Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, PNAS. Penis. Penis. So the penis journal here. So this is the publication they're talking about. CRISPR Cas9 editing of the agranine vasopressin V1A receptor produces paradoxical changes in social behavior in Syrian hamsters. Paradoxical changes. So what they mean by paradoxical is the experiment did the opposite to what these scientists were trying to do. So they used Syrian hamsters. Now, I'm not sure why they use Syrian hamsters. I don't know if these Syrian hamsters are more aggressive. We have a war in Syria. Maybe that has something to do with it. This story just gets more and more weird. The scientists anticipated that doing so would dramatically alter the social behavior of the Syrian hamsters, making them more peaceful. It did change their behavior, but not how they had expected. We were really surprised at the results, said the study's lead author, GSU professor H.Elliot Albers. So this is the guy behind this, H.Elliot Albers. He's one of these crazy scientists that are going to end up wiping out humanity. These crazy nutjob scientists who are doing these weird, crazy experiments, and they're going to kill us all. We anticipated that if we eliminated vasopressin activity, we would reduce both aggression and social communication. But the opposite happened. It was the opposite to what they expected. And this is crazy, guys. So just think about all the experiments that these wacko scientists are doing. They think that they're going to have a certain result, but then the opposite happens. Now think about something like a vaccine against a coronavirus, where a vaccine is supposed to help reduce people getting the virus, help reduce the spread, help people not get sick. And then the opposite happens. Interesting, isn't it? The hamsters without the receptor displayed high levels of aggression towards hamsters of the same sex compared to their counterparts with the receptors intact. So they eliminated these receptors that they thought were causing aggression, but when they took them out, it actually caused more aggression. This suggests a startling conclusion. They're startled. The scientists are startled, they're surprised, they're baffled. It's almost like these scientists have no friggin' idea what the hell they're doing. Developing gene-edited hamsters was not easy. You don't say. when the experiment is the opposite of what you thought it would be, yeah, that kind of sums it up. Not easy. He added that a better understanding of the role of vasopressin in social behavior is vital to helping scientists identify new treatment strategies for psychiatric disorders in humans, ranging from autism to depression. So imagine if they did this in humans, and this is what this experiment is about. It's about testing on hamsters first and then applying it to humans. So imagine you have some crazy, aggressive psycho, someone who's psychotic, and they try this on a human, and instead of making them more docile, it makes them more aggressive, and then they go and kill a bunch of people. This is what the scientists are doing here. It's probably a good thing that they actually realized and fessed up to this. Now imagine if they did this and then pretended that it actually worked and that they actually did this in humans and actually made it worse. This happens in pharmaceutical experiments all the time, where pharmaceutical companies, they cover up some of the effects of these experiments, and then they release medication on the market, and instead of helping, they actually make things worse. And here's an article from the Washington Examiner via MSN. NIH funding spent on cruel and wasteful hamster aggression research. A study that purported to find the gene behind aggression in hamsters is now under fire for unnecessary cruelty, according to a watchdog organization. So the White Coat Waste Project sent a letter to the NIH Division of Program Integrity after obtaining videos from Georgia State University of laboratory hamsters fighting. So this is talking about the experiment where the hamsters are fighting and beating each other up and so on. In this article from the Daily Mail, it shows some photographs here. You can see the hamsters fighting here. And they just got more aggressive and started beating the crap out of each other. And so this is a cruel experiment, and it had the opposite effect to what they were trying to do. And doesn't this just prove that scientists don't know what the hell they're doing when this experiment does the complete opposite to what they were hoping for? Gene editing experiment turns cute hamsters into aggressive beasts. So these hamsters are pretty docile animals to begin with. Now some of them can get a little aggressive and so on, naturally, but these scientists thought they knew what gene was causing this aggressiveness, and it turns out that this gene was doing the opposite. This gene was actually making them more docile. They took out that gene and then it made them more aggressive. Unbelievable. I mean, you think about what's going on here when an experiment does the complete opposite to what it was hoping to do, and the implications of this for other experiments. Now, this came out in the open, it's all over the media. Now, can you imagine all the experiments that are happening right now that are not being talked about, that are done in secret, and we don't know what the hell is going on? They could be experimenting on cats and dogs and other animals and just turning them into monsters. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Going ham. Researchers make hamsters aggressive through gene manipulation. So the researchers did this. The scientists, they made aggressive hamsters. Now imagine if they experimented on insects and so on and made them more aggressive. So let's just say there was a type of fly, for example, and they made these flies more aggressive. And then somebody in the lab opens up a window and these aggressive flies flew out. And then within a few years, these flies have wiped out other insects and so on, and they could destroy the entire ecosystem of, a whole region or country. And this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at scientists doing these wacko experiments, and if these experiments leak out of the lab, it could have devastating consequences. I mean, I'm going to call it right now that it is my firm assertion that the coronavirus came out of the lab. There you go. I'm saying it straight out. And they tried to cover that up for God knows how long, and it's still kind of up in the air. And a lot of scientists are still trying to cover it up. The COVID-19 serves as a huge warning that these scientists are just playing God. They're gonna screw things up, and all it takes is one or two leaks and that's it, we're done for. COVID-19 wasn't that bad if you take a look back and just see it for what it really was. It killed a lot of really old and vulnerable people. Thankfully, young people were able to shake it off pretty easily. But now imagine if a more dangerous disease was leaked out of a lab, and it's happened before. Smallpox actually leaked out of a lab in Britain in the late 70s. Thankfully, that didn't end up spreading that much. And now we have monkeypox, and who knows where that came from. So guys, these scientists, they need to be called out, need to be stopped. There needs to be massive regulation all over the world. Every country has to do this clampdown on these crazy scientists. Alright guys, be sure to subscribe because I'm gonna do more videos on this subject, and I talk about a lot of other subjects. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about these wacko scientists. So until next time, see you guys later.